Hey friends, good to be with you on Bible Teaching Tuesday today. We've been working our way through the book of Colossians the last several weeks in our Sunday morning epistle readings. Today we turn a corner in the book of Colossians to chapter 3, which begins with these words: "Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things." Paul's letters usually begin with a lot of doctrine and teaching, and then they usually end with very practical guidance for how to live our lives. And you can see this quite clearly, and usually at a chapter break about halfway through a book. Take a look through the epistles and you'll see this. It happens in Ephesians, it happens in Galatians, Romans, it happens. It's just part of what Paul does. He teaches and then he exhorts. He lays forth some good doctrine and how we're to think about things, but then he also sets before us things that we need to do. And so like, for instance, Romans 12:1. Therefore, in view of God's mercy that we've just been talking about for 12 chapters, set apart your lives as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. And then comes 4 chapters. The last 4 chapters of Romans are all about living out the Christian life. That's how it works here in Colossians 3:2. Paul's going to say you need to take off deeds of the flesh and darkness, and you need to put on, clothe yourselves with deeds of light, virtues, etc. And he begins all of this with these words: set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. So the natural way I think that we hear this is think of things in heaven, the heavenly realm, not things down here on earth. That's not entirely incorrect, but I think it misses some of the point. This is not saying, don't ever think about your life, just think about heaven to come. That would be a wrong way to read this. What Paul is saying is set your minds on higher things. In fact, there's a youth Lutheran magazine called Higher Things, and it's based on this verse. Notice higher things doesn't necessarily mean things high, as in some direction like heaven, but higher things, the things of God. What are his purposes on earth? How does he want us to live and behave and act? What kind of things does he want us to believe? That's where we're to have our minds, not in the clouds, so to speak, but on the things of God, not on earthly things, the things of the flesh, the things that the world does or the world calls important. God has a way of life. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And it's as the will of God is already done in heaven, those heavenly things, those things above, those are how things are to be done on earth. But if we want the will of God as it is done in heaven to be done on earth, then we have to set our minds on those things. Because if all we look around is the world and what the world is doing and calling right and calling wrong, we're going to be led far astray. And Paul, says, all these things I'm going to teach you about how to act and live and believe in the Christian faith, they're only going to be possible if you take your mind off the earthly stuff and fix it again on the God stuff, his teachings, his will for our life. So that's what I would encourage you to think about this week. But really every day of your life, right, is an exhortation to put off the deeds of darkness and put on the deeds of light, to set our minds on things above. God's peace to you. Have a great rest of the week. And I'll miss you in worship this week. I'm out of town, but I'll be with you in heart and look forward to getting back and seeing you soon. Take care.